Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's episode of Advanced Bass Fishing, and really appreciate you guys checking out today's video and spending some time with me. And guys, today I want to talk about the most important thing that you need to consider in the month of June when you go bass fishing. There's one little deal going on, and I want to explain to you guys in detail how to take advantage of it that's really going to up your success this year. So we'll get into that in today's episode. Really appreciate that. Also, guys, just wanted to extend a big thank you out there to everybody that's taken time to use all those links I put in the description. I know you guys get burned out on me talking about this, but man, I just can't tell you how critical that is to keeping this channel on YouTube. So if you like the content, the best thing you can do to help out is to subscribe to the channel, use those links in that description, especially my Tackle Warehouse link. And a big thank you from me and my family for everybody that's doing that. We really appreciate it. Okay, one of the things I really like about doing these YouTube videos is I get a chance to teach people about seasonal movements and patterns of fish and things they do every month. And the thing I want to talk about that is something you really need to get a good grasp and understanding of in the month of June, and that is how bass feed on perch, bluegills, sunfish, black perch, any type of sunfish or perch in the month of June, which is one of their biggest times of year to spawn in. Perch, spawn very heavily in June. This is a huge factor in catching bass during that particular month for a certain population of fish, because one of the things in bass fishing that you have to understand is there's all the bass in the lake, you can't lump them up into one group, because bass, I've talked about this a lot before, bass are like people. They have different habits, they have different personalities, and you got some bass that do certain things in one month, and you've got other bass in the lake that are doing something completely different. For example, if you and I would go to Table Rock Lake where I live tomorrow, we might be able to catch bass on top water that are chasing shad over 100 foot of water. We might be able to catch them on a football head jig 45 feet deep. We might be able to run up the river and catch them in dirty water on a square bill crankbait. We might be able to catch them around some boat docks. There's fish doing everything all year long. And the population of fish that I want to talk about today that I like to target in June is those bluegill feeders, what I call them, perch feeders. Because if you know where bass have been spawning like in April back on your lake, if you go back to those same areas in the month of June, there's going to be perch spawning there. Not in every one of them, but that's the type of areas perch spawn in. Perch love to spawn in flat areas, hard bottoms. It can be a soft bottom, but they prefer a hard bottom. And they especially like really shallow water and some shade or cover nearby. So for example, if you go to the back of a cove in the month of June where some bass have been spawning early in the year, there's a good chance you're going to see these saucer size bluegill beds back in there, and there's a bunch of them in one area. Bluegills do not bed like one here and one there. They bed like, they'll have 20 beds in an area that's maybe 20 by 30 foot in diameter. They bed heavily together there, and you'll see them swimming everywhere if the water's clear enough. Now, obviously, this is a prime feeding opportunity for bass. Bass love to charge and to eat bluegills. They don't do it all the time, but here's sort of what happens is, let's say, for example, that there's some bluegills bedding in the back of this cove there or whatever. There will be some resident bass that take up occupancy in the back of that cove, and once in a while they'll just run up there and grab one, and they may go up there and grab one, and then they sulk back off maybe 50 foot away from the bed area, hang out for 2 or 3 days because they're full. 2 or 3 days later they run up there and get them another bluegill. And so it's not like there's this constant feeding frenzy going on, but these bass are living back there. And also, even if there's no visible nest back there, bass are still in that water in June looking for bluegills. It's like they don't know if there's bluegills back there until they go back and see them for themselves. So all of these flat, shallow, shady coves are going to be really good in the month of June. Okay, now there's a couple different ways that I like to catch these fish and the way that I like to fish for them. My favorite way is with some type of a small topwater lure, like a small walking topwater, like that Mega Bass Giant Dog X, maybe a little popper, like a Pop R or Pop X, something small, a little small buzzbait, like a 1/8 ounce or 1/4 ounce buzzbait can work good too. That's probably my number one way to catch them. If there's one back there looking for bluegills, they're going to bite a topwater. Another good way to catch them, especially if the water has a little color to it and maybe you can't see the beds, but you highly suspect there's some beds back there, is a swim jig. Take a swim jig, like a perch pattern swim jig, throw it back in there, just cover that same type of water you do with the, with the topwater lures. Also, that you can, occasionally you'll be able to catch them like on a fluke or a floating worm, something like that. But really, in my experience, all you need is a little topwater plug and, swim jig. Those are going to cover it, based upon your water clarities. But it's a great way to catch them. And another thing about it, guys, is June is probably the best month for this, but this goes on all summer because perch will spawn 3 or 4 times in the summer. As long as that water temperature is over about 70 degrees, they're going to spawn. They're going to spawn like in May or June. They have a batch, they come back in there 3 or 4 weeks later, they spawn again. Based upon how warm that water temperature stays into the fall time of the year, you can run this pattern all summer, but the biggest population of those spawning perch occur in June in most parts of the lake. So anyway, guys, give it a try. I hope it helps you, and we'll talk later.